Growing pains have been difficult, and the biggest issue with growing pains is management of other people. It's not something I'm that great at, to be honest, and I kind of want to come in and just make my art, and I don't necessarily want, I mean, that sounds funny, but it's really sort of true, and I don't necessarily want to stop and manage people, and managing people properly is it's something that is a gift, quite frankly. People who are good at it are really good at it, and you need to commit time, and you need to stop what you're doing, and you need to manage them. And that's been something that I've had to learn to do, and it's not something that's necessarily a natural fit for me, but you can't have a huge studio with a lot of people unless you do that well. And I've learned a lot, I've read a lot, I've sort of realized it was something I wasn't necessarily that great at, and I've tried really hard to do it, and I have a great team, and everyone's really committed, and it has worked. It's been successful, but it's something I've had to like really look at and work at.
Anything in terms of resources that you can recommend?
Yeah, I've just read there's some great books on management, and I've talked to a lot of managers. The main resource is watching people. I've watched people in business and watched how they manage people. You meet with people. If someone's on your team, you meet with them at least once a week. You like have FaceTime. You need like a lot of open communication. And that can be tricky for an artist designer when you're in a space. I'm supposed to stop what I'm doing and, you know, meet with my studio manager. I need to do that. Otherwise he doesn't know what's going on. And he's like working in a vacuum, and that's bad. So I mean, it's like I have to sort of force myself to leave my creative process and sit down with my team. And I feel really blessed because my team is good, and they love what they are doing. The biggest challenge though for me, and it's something I'm still struggling with, and I struggle with it constantly, is collaboration. I can collaborate with other artists and designers, no problem, I don't have an issue with that, but I've had such challenges collaborating with technologists. What I've discovered in my own process is that when I let the technology leave the studio and be built by engineers who are, quite frankly, much better technologists than me, so there's a lot of reason for me to do this. Find a great technologist, I'm like, oh, you can build this great software for me, I'll let you build it for me. It all falls apart. And it's been really tricky trying to understand why, and I think part of it comes down to the fact that for me and my work, my medium is technology. So my paint is technology, and when I let someone else control it, I can't play with it. I can't play with it, and I can't iterate with it. I can't really control the vision. And the outside team, even if they're the most talented and amazing team, they just aren't able to produce something that lets me truly iterate and play. And that's a problem when I'm trying to use that as a medium to produce art. So that this is a big, and it might seem kind of like a small detail, but it's like a really big issue for me, because things like the pool are very complicated, and there's a lot of technology in that. And for me to have a team that also builds the technology and the art and to envision it is a lot. It's like a lot. But when we outsource the technology, it just completely falls apart time and time again. It's very interesting. And I honestly, I want to outsource the technology. I really don't want to build it. I really like have this vision that there's like this amazing engineering team that can build it, and we can just focus on like making a truly great interface and focus on the art sides of it. But it just hasn't worked. And so I've tried so many times, and we just recently, my whole studio team, we sat down and we're like, okay, we need to suck it up, and we have to build it ourselves.